Their Majesties would invite into their court Bartholomew Sharpe.
Beautiful work and meticulous care, art and function at the forefront of the process. Ridiculous is his skill in all right ways. Talent in every stitch. He is at the height of fashion. Only the best will do, yet he is humble as can be. Luxe and lovely are his garments, ornamented or elegant and understated, he can do it all. Marvelous joy and passion he embodies. He teaches and shares his skill with us all. Everything he does is a work of love. Wow. Now comes before your Majesties Bartholomew Sharpe to answer the question before him.
That's hearing you say.
But I think we should hear from them, and then we will have your answer.
Is there a companion of the Order of the Chivalry to speak for this man?
I, Sir Llewellyn, Master of Arms, Steward of House Silver Dragon, would claim that right. Your Majesties, as a member of the Order of Chivalry, I tend to focus on prowess, and it is prowess by which I came to know Lord Bartholomew. During the plague times, I watched from afar as he made many magnificent garments. Many of them I acquired myself. Ultimately, during that time, he instructed me and encouraged me to create garments myself, often answering question after question after question. In the end, I say that those are both peerly skills, and I am honored and very pleased to say that Lord Bartholomew is my equal and my peer, and I am pleased to say my friend.
Is there a companion of the Pelican who will speak for this gentle?
Yes, I am Peter the Red. I am here at the Order of the Pelican, here to speak on behalf of Bartholomew, my friend. So I've known him for about 8 years or so, and when I met him, he was at the archery range. And can you imagine this? He's dressed in puffy sleeves with a leather arm guard, baggy breeches, and I think, now forgive me if I get a few of the details wrong, but I've known him for many years, but I think a nice fancy doublet and a yew horn-tipped bow that he made himself, and it was 110 pounds. And he had this lovely quiver with canvas, with leather on top, with holes that all his arrows were in, each of the holes. And they had self-knocks and bodkin points that he made himself. And 110 pounds is a very, very strong bow to pull. And he'd have to pull it in a very interesting way. He wouldn't just come here and just pull. He'd have to bend down and reach and then sort of pull his back this way. And it was very impressed. So, Bartholomew, you impressed me. You impressed me then. You took things to the next level. You taught about the artifacts from the Merry Rose. That day you were teaching me stuff. You inspire, you continue to improve. and you continue to teach. That, my friends, is service to the SCA, to the archery community, and to what he holds dear to his heart. I strongly approve of this recommendation to you.
Thank you. Is there a member of the Order of the Rose to speak for this gentle?
I'm Contessa Vienna de la Mare, and I would speak on behalf of the Rose. Your Majesties, Your Highness, it is often said that courtesy is the foundation of each of the peerages, even the society, and the Order of the Rose holds this virtue, courtesy, above all others. But there is another virtue that we hold extremely dear, inspiration. The gentle you see before you is inspiration, not just in manner and dress, but also in spirit. I swear, Bartholomew Sharpe is a muse. He can make anything. Bows out of yew tree that he harvests from felled wood at his place of employment, like he just drove there and picked it up, to amazing functional garments and accoutrements. He embroiders things virtually overnight. And leather, because why not? And then he came to a theme simple panel and showed everyone his appliqué leather. And we all wanted to do it too. That's inspiration. Bartholomew, you've helped and inspired so many people on their SCA journeys. You have a generous heart that offers gentle, non-judgmental support, counsel, and guidance. I've been such a huge fan of yours for years. From your first St. Eligius, where I could have sworn you were a newly transplanted Laurel from another kingdom, to the quiet conversation we had at Berkeley that one year, to the moment Wilhelm and I asked, the moment Wilhelm asked me to whom should we give the Sovereign's Order of Excellence. There has never been any doubt whatsoever, just like today. Your Majesties, this is Bartholomew Sharpe. He is a muse. He is my friend, and he is our peer. And thank you for recognizing him as thus today.
Is there a companion of the Order of Defense to speak to this gentle?
I am Master Natalia Anastasia of Geneva, and I claim that right today. May I?
Please.
There are many things that rapier fighters truly hold dear. We love the one that inspires us, a beautiful blade, the rapier community. There is nothing compared to the love that we have for our tailor. This is no mere tailor, I tell you. You have the ability, the generosity, the perseverance to make someone like me a sow's ear into a silk purse. He takes beautiful armor and makes clothing for fighters, knowing full well what we're going to do with it. And we become beautiful. We are an art. We are a beauty on the field because of your efforts. The patience and care that you share your historical knowledge, the things that you do, inspire, help. I made a shirt, hand sewn with embroidery, because of you. I don't know whether to thank you or wonder what you were thinking. This man shows perseverance in teaching those that don't have the skill, to inspire them to do things, to do the right thing for our kingdom. And I commend him to you, for he is my peer.
companion of the Order of the Laurel to speak for this gentleman.
Your Majesties, Excellencies, I, Master Luke Knowlton, would have the honor to speak for the Order of the Laurel. It's been my joy and my honor to know Bartholomew Sharpe for many years, and his skill as a craftsman never ceases to amaze me. From dyeing cloth with bark or fruits that he had gathered himself, and then tailoring that cloth to make garments, and then taking metal, casting it, and then joining those castings to make belts and leatherwork and sword hangers and any number of other myriad of crafts. Bartholomew displays a mastery of any skill he turns his hand to, and it just astounds me. When you talk with him about a project, he'll get a little wry smile on his face and say, I think I can do that. And he does. As Chaucer described the scholar in the Canterbury Tales, gladly would he learn and gladly teach. And so does Bartholomew. As well as his masterful level of craftsmanship, Bartholomew is a gentleman of the highest order. His word is his bond. Today, my companion, Baron Jean de Lac, had hoped to be here as well, but sadly he is home at our estates with an injury. But he asked me to please read something from him, and I quote, "Some years ago, after visiting the monuments and treasures of long-ago kingdoms, it occurred to me to ponder what would remain after I myself were dust. What would my heirs make of that which is so precious to me in my time? Thinking to inspire the great hearts and skillful artisans of the East with such a reverie, and receiving strong support from our friends at the Barony Beyond the Mountain, we declared a prize to whomever would best present an artifacts of a life. On that day, I made the acquaintance of Bartholomew Sharpe, an archer in the service of King Henry VIII, whose fate was to rest with the Mary Rose in the waters of the Solent. He powerfully conveyed the reality of that life, demonstrating a dazzling variety of skills in making weapons, clothing, and objects of daily life. He tends a forest, and from it he harvests dyes for cloth, bows, and shafts, as if he were Adam newborn in the world, discovering everything needful for life. From all his great skill and fearlessness in mastering these new things, he's humble. He turns no one away who seeks skill. He shares freely of his wisdom. I recommend him to your majesties and to the people of the East as a true peer of the realm." End quote. And I heartily concur with Baron Jean. Bartholomew Sharpe is unequivocally my peer, and I welcome him into the order.
Their Majesties invite into their court Mistress Pagan.
Your Majesty, Highness, Your Excellency, I have business with you. You have deemed it fit to elevate my apprentice to the Order of the Laurel. And in that, it is time for us to say that this contract is complete. I need Risar Alexei Dmitriev. Do you attest that you wrote this contract?
I did. And it came from the same document.
Less than 4 years ago, we started together on a journey for you to become a peer, which I thought was really funny, because in my heart, you were already a peer. You just didn't know it yet. And now, the fealty that we had, it's time for it to be broken. May I have the scissors? These are the same scissors that were used to cut this originally. This is the end of our contract. Please give me back the belt that I gave to you. I give you a plain black belt. Those free people of the society have belts of their own. This was made by Jaji for you. This belt no more marks you as a person in service to someone else. You stand today your own man. You may enter into any contracts of your own as you will. You may take apprentices of your own. And therefore, I give you back this belt to give to your first apprentice whenever that may be. I thank you. Our business is now concluded.
With all ties that bind, setting me free, you would now have your answer.
Before I would make my oath, it is right and customary that all members of the merchant village still I really hope that they will get somebody who can inspire them.
Their Majesties would call into their courts the companions of the Order of the Laurel. Is there a cake?
There is, Your Majesty, on my own hands.
May you tell them about the cake, please?
Yes, the cape was made every stitch by hand according to an existing example dated 1540 to 1560 in the Victoria and Albert Museum. This is the first time that I have ever attempted tailoring. Wear it in good health, my friend.
Are there garters?
There are. I made these out of silk, fabric woven, they're reversible, so you can have it light side up, dark side up, and the sitting for the observation.
Is there a livery collar?
Yes, there is.
The livery collar was made as a cooperative effort between Stephen of Silver Forge and
Robert McNeil.
yes. I was stumbling over his
Yep,
title,
I know.
It's the shine.
which is right and proper for this station.
Is there a wreath?
Your Majesties, there is. Our friend here enjoys wearing hats, so the traditional wreath just wouldn't do for someone who tries to recreate things as close to the letter as possible. It is my first Laurel regalia, in a leather hat band style so that it can fit with him, his impeccable garments, and his never-ending style.
I swear that I, Bartholomew Sharpe, shall be true to our sovereigns of these kingdom and to their heirs, rulers of these. I shall be a good and true member unto the merchant tailors of the order of the Laurel, whereof I am now a member full admitted. I shall not from henceforth withstand nor disobey the summons from the sovereigns or wardens of said order, for the time being as such that I have summoned, without a reasonable excuse to be had. I shall also not discover the lawful counsel of said order and its mystery, which should be kept secret. I shall come to all assemblies for the worship and profit of said order as often as when I can. Also, I shall not use customly any unlawful nor unfit usages that should go against good conventions and honest conditions. That is to say, I shall be no common rioter, common dice player, common night walker, nor use of company of untrue jurors, nor customarily haunt unconventional places, wherein, through whose unfit demeanor and ill rebuke, I shall breed shame of the order. I shall well and truly serve the kingdom, his wishes on its behalf, as he solemnly
I, Ryu,
I, Drachi,
hear your words.
and know them to be true,
Exchange whoever to your strength,
and our protection,
our wrath.
and our affection.
If the current wheel turns, may your opposition be crushed beneath,
And may you rise to prosperity,
so long as dragons beckon at our doors.
and the sun rises in the east.
We
Bind ourselves to you.
A gentle in charge of his own wardrobe, learned tailor study in his mainstay. Precise hand stitch in his vestments and robe, which are not rich styles or gilt array, but garments meant to keep the cold away. Every tool crafted for how folk were clad, bent on sewing sturdy hems that will fray. And if that no spare cloths to give be had, his own coat he would cut, and it distributed glad. Thus, September 3rd, mood hath been leavened with accumulation of these affairs on a Societatis 57, witnessing this triumph with those that care, as Barleycorn welcomes new Ostgardr heirs. The Laurels will greet him before these thrones, with hearty embrace into their affairs. We are here to state what everyone knows, that the very soul of the man is in his clothes. And none shall decry. Words by Baroness Ace and Tiamak, calligraphy illumination by Baron Phelan on Scrutian.
Please rise and preach your order.
For Bartholomew, newest companion to the order of the Laurel.
Viva!